it's the last bit of time here at Sango Sands, Durness. I'm going to be packing up soon. It's 6:30 in the morning at the minute. Well, I get an early start today, get the ferry at Cape Wrath at 9, and or the first ferry, and then I've got a surprise lined up for Alfie and Julie. Special place to camp, wild camp after. So, it was good. I'm going to miss this place though. It's been really, really good. So we've left Sango Sands campsite this morning, and we're now at the Kyle of Durness. We just parked the truck behind that van. And we're just having the short walk along the road to the ferry, which is going to take us over to Cape Wrath. You can't get your vehicle there. And then on the other side we get a minibus. There's only 2 vehicles, I think, 2 minibuses on the Cape. So yeah, it'll be good. So we've walked down to the ferry bit, and it's not running today. The internet says it runs daily between April and October, I think. But we've just looked on the board where they post the next crossing, which should be 9 o'clock every day, and it says Saturday 8:45 to 9 AM, which is tomorrow, which is a shame because I really wanted to go to Cape Wrath and see it, Scotland's last wilderness. So that means we're going to have to come back another year now and try again. But it looks as though it's because of the tides, to be honest. It looks like there's just not enough water in the Kyle of Durness to get the ferry across. If you look out there, you can see the sandbars literally just under the surface. So I'm guessing that that's the reason they're not running today. But you can see the minibus is parked up on the other side. Nothing's moving. Which is a shame. So I'll have to find something else to do today. So we've just stopped at Kinlochbervie, and there's a war memorial. In honour of the men of Kinlochbervie who fell in the Great War and the Second World War. Even up here in the Highlands, in the very north, young guys got called up. They must have been out. There's not a lot here, so probably even less then. I would imagine a lot of them were living on farms up in the hills. And there's some more stuff over here. Now that's what I want one day. A four-wheel drive, army wagon type thing, converted into a camper. That's exactly what I want. So note to self, when taking things off the roof rack with the wind turbine going, don't stick your hand in it. So we've just been for a snorkel in this area here by these rocks, and it's stunning. It's like being in an aquarium. There's sea trout about a foot long, there's crabs the size of dinner plates. Shrimps, jellyfishes, everything out there. It's like big rock ravines. If you're into your snorkeling, scuba diving, I would highly recommend you come to this beach. It's just some of the best snorkeling I've done, and I've snorkeled all over the Med, around the UK, and this particular spot is one of the best. Absolutely stunning. And now I'll have a fish are later for when I come fishing. I mean, look at this. There's just us and one other family on this beach, and there's about 5 or 6 families camping up on the campground there. It's just, it's perfect weather, perfect sea, amazing. So, the evening, I'm just doing a spot of fishing. There's loads of fish down there, but whether I can catch one. Alf is playing with some kids on the beach. Julie's gone for a walk. Perfect night. It's really warm. If you get this way, you've got to come and see this beach. Just even if it's just for a visit, but preferably camp the night. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. beautiful evening, and then the wind stopped, and now we're getting midged to death. It's the only problem with Scotland for me, the midges, but you just have to grin and bear it. And it's time to light a really smoky fire. So, not so nice this morning. It's warm, definitely warm. Just, it's like just spat with rain all night, pretty much. Not really. It's not really rained properly. It's just spat with rain. And I got up a few times to check to make sure that this stream wasn't going to burst its banks, but we were fine. Because you never know, it might only be spitting with rain here, but up in the mountains it could be hammering it down. And that all runs down here, and then we get flooded out. So it's no wind at all last night, and battery's dead this morning because we only drove about 20 miles yesterday, and before that we'd been parked up for 2 days. So yeah, they were down at like 2.8 volts, so I've had to start the truck up to give them some power. Midges were everywhere last night. It was horrendous. I'll show you the camping table. That's all midges. Once it started raining, they land on the table, get stuck. That's it. They're knackered. And that. So one more of them trucks. There's a guy there. He's been trying to get his camper van out there for about half an hour. And he's not really taking a very clever route, clever line, but it's been raining all night, it's wet, it's grass and it's uphill. He's really struggling. This big boy will pull him out, no problem, but they're still asleep. I'd help him, but we're still set up, so if he's still struggling when we go, we'll give him a drag out. Here he goes again. You're going for it. Go on, gun it. Not enough speed, I don't think. No. So we've just left camp, which is sort of just over that direction, about a mile down the road, and stopped at these public toilets. Julie and Alfie are having a bit of a meltdown on camp because of the midges, and so we just packed up quick and got out of there. Here he is. Feeling better now, mate? How's your butt?
Yeah.
Alfie experienced his first wild camping poo last night with a shovel.
Midged to death on the butt.
And his butt got bit by midges while he was having a poo. It's something to do with a stick as well, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, can I have this?
Yeah. Now, how are you feeling this morning, Jules?
Right.
Give us a smile.
No.
So we've arrived in Scourie and stopped at this little shop run by an English lady. Not a lot of stuff in there, but got a coffee and a bit of breakfast for Alfie, because they wanted to dive out of camp quickly. Truck's going well. Yeah. So the campsite is just up the road. So I think we'll see if we can get on there tonight. Julie and Alfie are refusing to do another wild camp. What they don't realise is there can be just as many midges on a proper campsite as a wild camp, but there we go. We'll see how we get on. So we've just arrived at Scourie campsite, which was only about 20 mile from where we were camped last night. But we just slowly get working our way down the coast. There's a nice little beach there. Plenty of snorkelling and fishing to do in this bay, I would say. Julie and Alfie, I don't think they could cope with another wild camp tonight, so we're on this campsite. And here we go again, set up. And there is a seal, just gone under. And he's back up. Everything's covered in sand, and we're going to have a bit of a cleaning out day today. Even got sand in my cup. Inside the tent, it's everywhere. We'll have a bit of a sort out today. And then we'll go down the beach. So we've had a good sort out of all the kit now. repacked, and for the first time on this trip, we're a week in, I've had to pay, well actually I haven't had to pay for it, an electrical hookup, because we had 2 nights at Durness with a wind turbine, and then we had not very many miles to the wild camp, and we had a night there, and then not many miles to here, so the batteries haven't really charged up properly. There's no wind today, so the turbine won't be of any use, so we've plugged in the 40 quid electric hookup gadget and a battery charger, and that's running. We're on 1 cool box now, not 2, because we're getting to the end of our meat supplies, so we've managed to get it all into 1 to save the power draw, and we're running at 12.1 volts with the charger on, so all good. All good. And Alfie's trying to kill himself by trying to balance on a football. He's brilliant at trying to kill himself, but yeah, he's down. Yeah, so we've sorted out all the kit. We can go down and enjoy the beach now, I think. Do some snorkeling, do some fishing, and I think tonight we're going to go and light a fire down there. We've got a Dutch oven that we're going to do a beef stew in over the fire. All good. Come on.
Your leg's burning.
So the fishing's been quite unsuccessful. Me and the boy went over onto those rocks over there earlier, fished on the other side of that point where apparently it's good for catching pollock and stuff, but we didn't get anywhere. But we've got this sea mist coming in, which apparently in this area of Scotland they call a have. It's only in this area apparently, and it's like a dry mist that comes in, but it gives this quite nice effect to the skyline and the scenery. I've got a fishing rod out, but I think I'm mainly caught up in all the seaweed, to be honest, so I'll just leave it. And fire, plenty of smoke to keep the midges away, and we just preheat in the Dutch oven. The stew's in there. Once that burns down a bit more, we'll put the Dutch oven on top of the embers, cook the stew, and then we've got some spare logs left to build the fire up again after. But yeah, it's beautiful here, really is.